What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes. Another day, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? Hey guys, today is Monday, something. I'm done looking at the dates. I don't even really care anymore, okay? It's just October. It's spooky season, bro, okay? It's the end of the weekend. We just had the No Kings protest over the weekend. I'll tell you guys all about that. And apparently, we got a lot of crazy updates when it comes to Hasan. We got some updates when it comes to the whole TwitchCon and the streamer thing. We've got a lot of weird news that happened over the weekend that we have to talk about. You may or may not have heard about it, but you haven't heard me talk about it. So, you know, that means you really haven't heard it at all. Jokes aside, okay, I'm not joking. I'm actually in a good mood today because I actually think that I think the whole Hasan thing is wrapping up. I think it's at the end. Like, I feel good. I don't know if you guys tell last week as I was covering this whole situation that happened with Collargate, I was just feeling just drained. You guys asked me to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. So you guys know the drill. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, and yeah, allow me to lay it on you. So first things first, we got to talk about this whole TwitchCon situation. That's right, there was a lot of things that came out of it, a lot of different clips, a lot of different news, but the biggest thing has to do with the streamer by the name of Emiru. Okay, Emiru is a streamer who basically, well, she streams. She's one of the most popular female streamers on Twitch on their platform. I think formerly part of OTK, and she was also somebody we have talked about on this channel in the past as well for, unfortunately, the same reason, freaking stalkers and weirdos are approaching her and her group. I think she was the same person that was in a group with Senna and Valkyrie. They were at a carnival and some weirdo came up there trying to profess love. I don't know. She's had to deal with this before and now she's had to deal with it again. Ignoring my commentary, what a piece of shit scumbag, you'll see in a minute. This person here said, so some freak assaulted Emiru at TwitchCon. This behavior is effing disgusting. I'm amazed that she can still come back to finish the meet and greet line. Honestly, she deserves the most respect. This has to stop. Emiru updates Emiru. Okay. For those of you guys who don't know, again, before I show you the clip really quick, and it's nothing like crazy visually, and for those of you guys who have like trigger warnings and stuff like that, is to describe it to you, big dude just walks over her and then he gets pushed out the way. Okay, that's the spoiler, but I'll show it to you. It's not, you can relax, okay? But what you kind of need to know is that a lot of people have been basically saying not to go to TwitchCon because TwitchCon is weird, all right? The state of the world is really weird, and the state of Twitch is really weird. This, like I keep saying, man, these streets are not safe. These TwitchCon streets are not safe. And I've communicated and said, guys, stay inside. All right. Bunker up. Okay. If you want to go outside, maybe go outside the front door or something like that. Hang out with your small groups of people, man. But there's a lot of weird energy out there right now. There's a lot of weird energy out there right now. And unfortunately, a lot of people caught some strays at TwitchCon as a result of said energy. So here's the clip. So here's Emmy. She's at a meet and greet. Okay. She's, you know, basically there's a line with people who want to come and meet Emmy. You know, it's really cool. And this guy comes out of nowhere, tries to kiss her. He gets pushed out the way. And then it looks like he kind of flicks something around on his hand. People were wondering if it was a weapon or something like that. All you really need to know is that this guy literally comes out of nowhere and... All right, when I explain to you exactly how this happened, this is going to grind your gears into infinity, okay? I talked a little bit about this on twitch.tv/N3on with some of my audience members already, and I was pissed the hell off, okay? And I might snap again. I'm in a good mood, but I might snap because just talking about this and looking at this right now is pissing me off again. The guy that you see over here on the right that apparently came over here to find Emiru and then basically assaulted her, okay, went through several lines of security places to get to where he had to go. And then once he finally got to the place where he was in her vicinity, the only person who stopped him was her security guard. Okay, the person that pushed him was not a random bystander. It was not Twitch's security guard. It was her security guard. Now, get this. Apparently, Emiru had two bodyguards, and her favorite bodyguard got banned from TwitchCon for successfully protecting her from weirdos from the last time she came to TwitchCon. So TwitchCon not only banned one of her biggest protections, but then she arrives at TwitchCon and then gets assaulted without being protected by TwitchCon security officers. Okay, that's absolutely freaking backwards. But it gets worse. Instead of this guy basically getting publicly beat down by everybody on TwitchCon, because yes, that's what I think he actually deserves. Okay, I was saying this. Okay, all right, I'm about to let go. I'm about to just real talk. Okay, real talk. Something like this happens. Okay, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 security guards and like 6 different civilians. I need 12 people stomping this guy out. I need a football team stomping this guy out nonstop. Okay, and then I need pictures, and then I need to see him go get restrained, and then he needs to be arrested, and he needs to be sent to jail, and then we need. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay, is it a little violent? Yes, but is what he did also terrible? Way terrible and way unprovoked. And in my opinion, I think people need to be afraid to just be walking up on women and thinking they can do whatever the hell they want. On top of that, you guys probably know that whole Christy Grimm's situation that happened a couple of years back. I can't remember that's her name, but she was a streamer or she was an influencer. I think maybe a singer, and she died because some weirdo came over there and killed her. Okay, so this could have been something that could have been the exact same situation with Christina, with Emiru, because the guy could have done whatever the hell that he wanted. Whatever the hell he wanted. He was in range, he got in range, and then he got released. He got let go. So Twitch's actions not only allowed Emiru to basically be more vulnerable by getting rid of his bodyguard, also the Twitch staff not basically being anywhere in sight, but then they let him get free passage. Bro, like, it's like, what the hell? He got a damn tour to do exactly what he came here to do. So as you guys can probably imagine, there was an entire freaking meltdown about the situation. People were trying to figure out who this guy was. People were super pissed at TwitchCon because literally just weeks beforehand, all right, we had people like Pokimane and Valkyrie, Hasan, and some other streamers saying, like female streamers saying they don't feel safe going to TwitchCon. They just don't feel safe. And then literally within hours of TwitchCon starting, one of their most prominent female streamers get assaulted with no protection whatsoever outside of her own, which was already reduced by Twitch in itself. Thousands and thousands and thousands of tweets of people being pissed off at TwitchCon and showing support for Emmy. Okay, so then Emmy replied. She eventually came and made a tweet after things had happened. Apparently she finished her meet and greet and was just kind of just still just trucking through. This is just wild that she actually had to bear with this. It reads, "Hello everyone, I am okay and I thank you all for the kind messages. Sorry I can't respond to them all. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me and my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out it could have been a lot worse." Yes. I mean, if this guy wasn't just a freaking gooner loser who was trying to come catch a feel for you, then yes, if he was one of those other psychos, we just heard a story about another woman who basically got killed by one of her dono people, the people top donators or something like that in Japan or something like that. These people are not mentally well, and they will come out here and harass you or harm you or hurt you because they don't look at you as human. She said, "I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this," which is very sad. "But to tell you honestly, I'm a lot more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact." Okay, this is going to make your blood boil. This one's going to make your blood boil. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. Okay, the security in the clip who reacts is my own security. It's true, my favorite and user security card was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to police at a past TwitchCon. Literally, all right? Man who protects and does the thing that we want him to do when it comes to protecting people, you know, protecting Emiru, gets banned for doing his job. You can't make that up. You cannot make this up. This is literally working in opposition of what Twitch says they're trying to do. However, there were at least 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since they don't even appear in the frame. LOL. Imagine having 3 or 4 security guards. Okay, let's give benefit of doubt. They saw it. They didn't recognize. They didn't see the danger. Sometimes, you know, people and give the benefit of doubt. Their surveillance was off. Their eyes were not there. Man's got pushed and then nobody reacted. You just froze and stood there like NPCs with your freaking hands onto your side and then literally escorted and did nothing for this guy. No punishment, no penalty. More on that one later, by the way. But security guards literally did the opposite of what security guards are supposed to do. They're supposed to be barriers to entry. Instead, this man just casually walks in and out in the best way possible. The woman who is walking me away is my own personal manager, and behind the booth, the only 2 people who were checking on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the TwitchCon staff came to ask what happened or if I was okay. And I believe Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, said that when it comes to TwitchCon, safety is their highest priority. He gave everybody a very, very huge, don't worry, we're beefing up security. It's our highest priority, okay? And then you got people out here not doing anything. If that's your highest priority, I don't even want to know what your lowest priority is. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and immediately laughing and moving on talking about something else. And I believe this. I know exactly the kind of people she's talking about, the kind of people who kind of like jokingly make fun of situations that don't happen to them. And I believe that this 1000% occurred, 10,000% occurred. I can see it. I can feel it in my freaking bones. Okay. Laughing about somebody being assaulted is absolutely freaking heinous. And then moving on from it, not checking up on her, not even doing due diligence, not even trying to do damage control, not even that. This is absolutely, the consequences need to be happening here. And I'm probably jumping the gun right here, but something needs to happen. There needs to be some dramatic consequences. I'm so hoping that Emmy and her team sues the hell out of TwitchCon, okay? But somebody, somewhere, there needs to be consequences for the literal incompetence of this entire situation. At every single step where something could have been done successfully, it failed. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. And yes, that is a blatant lie, okay? There have been a lot of people, internet detectives, okay, who basically were able to trace the steps of the guy who walked back using other people's footages at TwitchCon. Imagine everybody having phones and recording themselves, right? Those are surveillance cameras, and literally the internet goons on there going like, all right, we're going to figure out where exactly this guy went. He left. He just walked out the door. And it was just gone, and that was it. He did not get immediately caught or detained. So yes, Twitch already now lying in the response in order to do damage control and lying over the fact that one of your top streamers got assaulted. Oh my God. Relax, breathe. I'm sorry. Let me relax and breathe. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me. And it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. If it was up to Twitch, they would have buried it. They would have pushed this under the rug. Oh, nothing really happened. Oh, we don't really need the publicity. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, we'll give you some Twitch Turbo or something. Let's not. That's my guess. They would have tried to sweep it under the freaking rug. I have a lot more I want to say, but I will say it on stream later today instead of writing a book here. More on that later. Thank you guys again. Sorry you all had to see that. That breaks my heart to see Emmy say sorry you all had to see that. Like, imagine you being on the receiving end of being assaulted by some stranger due to lack of protection, nothing being your fault, and then at the end of this apologizing. That absolutely breaks my heart. This is definitely my last TwitchCon, and it saddens me to say, as a 10-year off and on attendee at TwitchCon, I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without these options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything is going to be okay. She's a sweetheart. She's an absolute sweetheart. We got to protect her, bro. Yeah. My guess is that this is going to be the last TwitchCon. That's it. There's no coming back from this. Okay. This is not the only thing that occurred. Okay. So it's not like one of those like, oh, one thing happened. So no, this was multiple things that happened, but also the many layers that failed Emmy here. Okay. They had, like I said, so many opportunities to get one thing right, and they got everything absolutely wrong. Like, literally, you won't even get a 0. You'd have to go in the negative. They helped the criminal more than they protected Emmy. So Twitch responded, okay, much later. Okay, this thing was blowing up for quite a while. They finally got off their asses and decided to type their prompt into ChatGPT, and this is the bullshit that we got. I know I'm coming in biased, and it's because I've kind of already reviewed the information. It's also because I'm just really pissed off about this. I already feel like when it comes to being a woman in the streamer base that there's not enough, I would say, urgency when it comes to like how unprotected they are. Like, I don't even know if they're allowed to like bring in like mace or like some kind of spray or something to protect themselves. Okay. But like, again, there's a lot of strange people at these cons. And if you're just a tiny person, like Emiru, or some of these other women here that have nobody as well. Okay, like I think that you are putting yourself at risk. I wouldn't walk amongst them. Me personally, bro, unless I had an entire posse, and even then, like, it's not going to stop people from wanting to do what they want to do. It's not safe out on these streets. So Twitch said the safety and security of those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. All right. Again, like I said, if this is your highest priority, right, and you failed at every single step, that just shows the level of incompetence that you have. If this was your number one job, this is the thing that you were going to make the biggest thing about yourself, and then we had to put it to the test, which it was put to the test, you failed at every single turn. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply unsettling. Yes, there's also forks in the kitchen, okay? You don't have to tell us that. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. Okay, this is a bullshit sentence, all right? To say that law enforcement and event security were on site, what site? What are you talking about? They were nowhere in sight, S-I-G-H-T, according to Emiru and what we saw on there as well. Nowhere to be found. So when you say site, S-I-T-E, you could be saying anything. Oh, there was a law enforcement taking a nap in the break room. There was a law enforcement person on the 8th floor of the freaking hotel walking down the hallway. The site can mean anything. This word site literally means that there was any kind of law enforcement hanging around at any point in time. And responded to the incident. Responded to the incident. How long? Say when. Say where and say when. You can't. You won't say where they were and you won't say when they responded because that will look you bad. This sentence is absolutely freaking garbage and disingenuous. They think that the internet is stupid. They think that we are stupid. They think that we are stupid. They're covering their track. This is trying to cover your tracks like this and make blanket statements like this is only going to make you look more incompetent. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. Oh, never mind, guys. We can all put this behind us. He's banned on Twitch. Woo! He won't have to. Oh, man. Calm down. I need to relax. This is probably one of the first times you guys see me in a while get this kind of. This is Twitch Omni leaking out, by the way. Twitch.tv/N3on. You should come hang out with me. This is Twitch. I'm so frustrated because again, the damage that could have gotten done to her, there was damage that is done. Whether she's processed it or not, this is scary. To have a repeat performance of her being assaulted by men because she's just trying to stream is absolutely freaking terrible. This is not the first time that TwitchCon has showed its incompetence. We have talked about Twitch in general and their entire freaking regime of people there who have just basically been messing up at every single turn, it feels like, every single year, bro. Like, it's not even like we're trying to bully Twitch for the sake of Twitch. They just incompetent, bro. And I stream there. I don't want to talk smack about the place that I literally work, but it is what it is, and we have to do so in order to protect its creator. We are coordinating with the impacted creators team, and per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in point, and we'll have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. There are like hundreds of clips of people showing that they're trying to get checked in for TwitchCon, and the badges don't work. All right, it just does not work. It's not functioning. And they're just like, well, just go. Literally dozens of clips of people just walking through the line with no full verification whatsoever, bro. So, yeah, I don't know. Some people said that they felt like the security and the check-in was just basically being done by like volunteers. Okay. But it does not feel like they put an ample amount of actual money to actually make sure that their creators are protected and the people coming in and out are actually being regulated. If you RSVP'd for a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for that. Shut the hell up. Twitch has a zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our. Shut the hell up. This is such a nothing. They even got Twitch allowed the assailant to walk originally and was only pressed to apprehend him until Emiru's manager pushed for it. So if Emmy didn't have a person in her corner to push for this, then my guess is that absolutely nothing would have only been Emmy just talking. Imagine if we didn't have the person recorded. If that person did not record it, and Emmy did not have a manager, nothing would have came from it. It would have been one of those things where she comes out and says something and people don't believe her. It would have been one of those type of situations. And Twitch would have had no accountability whatsoever to do anything and just be like, yeah, we'll look into it. and then never look into it. You know, we all know how this plays out. All right. The individual was allowed to walk away. Twitch allowed the assailant to bypass several barriers and creator lines, and we already talked about Emiru's tweet on this. There's another clip out there that I can't find at the moment, okay, but it's basically Emmy, Senna, and a bunch of other female streamers kind of like talking about like them basically doing some of the events at TwitchCon. Some of them have meet and greet, some have contracts that they have to kind of fulfill to basically do things in return of being one of their featured streamers, whatever, okay, business as usual, right? However, one of them, Senna, said basically that she doesn't kind of want to do it because she doesn't want to sit in place for more than 1 or 2 hours, right? Which made me think, right? Like a lot of these women out here and people in general, but mainly women who have become the targets, they're afraid of doing IRL streams or being in places in one place or standing still because that will give you GPS. People like that guy will be like, oh, that's exactly where Emmy is. I'm looking at her stream. I found her and I can go straight to her. You're allowing people to just basically drop in on you if you stay in one place as an IRL streamer, as a woman, which is just absolutely freaking horrible. This is what happened, okay? This is the immediately restraining by TwitchCon, by the way. Not this guy. There he is. Look at that restraint. Look at him being restrained. Yup. Immediately restrained, and this man just basically walked out and lived his best life. So as you guys can imagine, it's been an absolute shit show. Okay, we've been having literally quote retweets. It's on Reddit. It's on freaking TMZ. For some reason, TMZ said it was an alleged assault. I mean, what we saw clearly was not alleged. It was an actual freaking assault. So whatever. But we got, again, the streamer news is now starting to hit a lot of the big media things, as you guys can see from Hasan Gate. Okay, and everybody's absolutely pissed. They're in support of Emmy. And they are very pissed off at Twitch. And now Twitch is doing their best to do damage control. So we have 2 responses that I'm going to show you. We got one from Emmy, where she made a follow-up video talking about the situation. And then we actually have Dan Clancy himself talking about the situation, doing his best to do damage control, which I'll show you right now. So here's the video. Okay, Emmy made a 50-minute video talking about the situation, which I'll summarize for you guys because I've already seen it as well. It has 700,000 views. And she's basically explaining the situation, what occurred. She kind of repeated some of the things she said on her Twitter, basically explaining what happened, the incident, which we've all seen, explaining how her manager was the only person that came in and stepped in and did anything. And if it wasn't for her, nothing would have came to this point. She also talked about how finally, after her manager stepped in, apparently they flew in some like top dog security guy from Amazon to actually beef up the security and respond to everything in response to this, which is probably what should have been done in the freaking first place. She talked about how like the guidelines allowed for the meet and greets for people to bring in +1s, okay? So you're supposed to have only people who are allowed to come when it comes to these freaking meet and greets, but apparently you were allowed to bring yourself, who was, part of it, and a +1 who never actually went through any kind of background check, which is basically allowing some stranger that was not allowed to be approved to come along and meet somebody that they weren't supposed to meet. She basically says that TwitchCon basically lost her trust, okay? She talks about a bigger issue when it comes to like other female streamers who cannot afford bodyguards. Apparently it cost her $10,000 freaking dollars to basically bring over this bodyguard, okay? But obviously people don't just have 10K to keep themselves protected from these freaking weirdos. This is the reason why TwitchCon is supposed to have security guards so people aren't spending money to protect themselves, okay? So she's saying that, yes, this is a wider issue where like women who are not her, who do not have that money, cannot basically protect themselves because this place is not safe. She also says in this video that this will be her last con, and she's severely disappointed. And she believes, she's also, I told you, I think she mentioned she's pressing charges as well. And yeah, I think that she should also be pressing charges to Twitch if possible. I hope Twitch gets sued. She's completely disappointed, and she's lost all trust in the event. She's been going to TwitchCon for over 10 years, and now she's urging other women to not go as well because their safety can definitely be put in jeopardy. And then we have a video of Taylor Lorenz. She's back. We were just talking about her when it comes to her and her interview with, or her coverage of Hasan. Well, now she's covering Dan, literally just right there at the place, reporting what's going on. She said, I asked Twitch CEO Dan Clancy about Emiru getting assaulted at TwitchCon and whether creators can trust the platform to keep them safe. Full interview will be on the YouTube channel podcast feed on Wednesday. Let's look at this 2-minute clip. What does Dan got to say? Because people should have been showing clips that apparently the same night that Emmy basically got assaulted, that Dan was just like getting tipsy and drinking and flipping content creators over. Dan was just out there just being a gooner.
And others. Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan. And a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, you know, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year, just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority.
If you don't stop saying this goddamn thing, every time you say this line, every time you say the line, it makes it look worse, okay? Again, you can't keep saying that something's top priority, and then when we see something happen, okay, you failed at every single step along the way, bro. This is literally the same line that was already spit out from the Twitch statement, bro. Like, stop reading from the script. Be a real freaking human being for just 1 second, okay?
Creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there.
Okay, so this man's response to protecting people at TwitchCon, to protecting women, is that you, women, should be regulating your audience and banning people. Go ahead and ban the weird creep that's going to find you later. Let's see. I'm sure he'll take that nice and gently. Yes. Hi, you're being kind of weird in my community. Let me ban you. Surely enough, there will be no repercussions or consequences of this. He's literally telling women that they got to be better at regulating their own freaking community when we're talking about people, women, coming into a building and a space that is said to be protected. What are you talking about, Dan? What in the freaking helly, bro? Come on. You could have made a better lie than that. You should have just lied, okay? But this was just absolutely work, bro. You're almost victim blaming at this point. What do you mean? There's nothing that you can do except for just antagonize the person worse by somehow banning them from your community. There's a lot of these people who just silently just watch as well, not saying anything, bro. Just awful. Just absolutely freaking terrible. Just 0 points all that. Come on, bro. Are you a real person?
And participating with you aren't there, okay? It's very different, you know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done because that's the world we live in now.
Demi had posted earlier.
So it's not about there being more work to be done, Dan. The problem was that there was zero work to be done. Zero. Okay. Here's the thing. People said that they were worried about coming to your event. You had a heads up. This could have been an easy alley-oop where you hire security guards and you got these dudes in black with mask and a gun just sitting there with arms crossed, checked. And people could have been like, damn, TwitchCon got a strap. They got niggas on niggas just everywhere with guns just chilling, just waiting in the cut. Twitch said they was going to take security. Very importantly, people would have been recording and been like, yo, there's a security guard at every single corner, at a car, whatever, like blah, blah, blah. That could have been your easy freaking layup to say that this was your highest priority. Because if it was my highest priority, okay, that's what I would have freaking done. Because it's my highest priority to keep my freaking content creators protected. I would have made sure that everyone have seen just how crazy the protection here is at Twitch. That did not occur. But you had the heads up. You had the easy layup. You had the preemptive, okay? And it still failed. There's nothing to work on. You just did not do. You cannot work on incompetence or the refusal of taking women's situations seriously. You can't work on it. You either do it or you don't. And when people say that they don't feel safe and then you don't follow up with the proper safety protocols, then there's nothing to work on. You just failed. You chose not to. You chose not to. And you're not taking accountability for it. You're pushing it on women, not moderating their streams, and then you're also saying that we got work to do because this is a bigger, broader issue around the world. Like, shut the hell up.
Today, that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, it is very secure. But here's
Taylor. Why you always gassing up the niggas that you talking about? Stop it. Taylor is always, I've always seen like one of, well, stop it, Taylor. You're a woman. All right. You need to be in this man's face telling him that he is ass, complete garbage, doo-doo, butt cheeks. Okay. Don't be like, yeah, there's this. She's literally saying like she feels like it's secure. She feels like it's secure. No. Taylor, we don't want your opinion either about your experience, okay? We're talking about Emmy and her experience. So we're not trying to then off-gate her, what happened to Emmy, with your good experience. That's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here. Why are you buttering this situation up? This is a fluff piece for Twitch.
A secure event to the point that even like journalists cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, it is very secure. But here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there, right? And so, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works for them, right? So I don't want to get into any, specifics or details, but part of that is working with creators and, trying to find them. Right now, we're definitely, ramping it up to make sure creators know that we have the resources there to help them figure out what's right.
Okay, so she asked, literally the question is why should we trust you? Why should female traders feel safe here? Literally didn't answer. And Taylor's not calling him out for his non-answer. This is just incompetence from both sides now. This is incompetent journalism and incompetent, like if you would have put me in front of Dan, Dan would not want me in front of Dan. Dan would, because I'd be like, Dan, real talk, bro. You're not answering the question. Why should women feel safe? Well, we're working on it. No. You gave us a freaking heads up that you was going to be working on it beforehand. Well, there's some unforeseen. No. You did foresee the challenge. We literally told you how people were feeling, and you had the best way to show people that you was basically going to do the thing that you're going to do. And a lot of people who basically went to TwitchCon did not feel safe. This is not just an Emmy thing. There was a lot of women saying like, yeah, no, this place don't look as secure as the way that they said they were going to make it happen. This is their highest priority. Anyway, that's basically it. There's a few clips lying around. Apparently the Taylor Lorenz video is going to come out. The interview is going to come out on Wednesday, the full podcast. Okay. I'm livid. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. The women in the streamer space have always been kind of mistreated. It's always been a place where they've kind of had to be on the receiving end of all of these freaking weirdos and creeps. And you cannot protect them from everyone. But when you're a TwitchCon, okay, when you're literally at a center or a place where you're bringing in all these people in this space, all right, it is your responsibility to take care of your people. And you had that opportunity. And it just was not done, and you failed every step of the way. And I feel like it's my responsibility as a freaking man, right? When I go to TwitchCon, I don't go around walking around thinking like, well, I hope some girl, doesn't come and try to assault me or something like that, right? Like if somebody does come get a little too close, then I'm like, you too close, man. I, give them an uppercut, elbow, whatever. I'm gonna fight back because I got the physical capability. There's a lot of women out here who already naturally live their lives like this, by the way. Okay, in and outside of TwitchCon, right? There are people that can just basically assault them for no reason. They can do nothing about it. Except out in the outside world, maybe you can have some mace or a gun you can carry or something like that. But and there, you've got no protection because everything is being taken away from you before you go in. So I am pissed because we are putting a place where women are going to be even more unprotected than usual. And then failing them there. You can't, again, protect everyone from freaking everything, but the amount of effort, at least that I'm seeing, the lack of it, at least, I don't see much effort, and the responses just feel like doo-doo. It feels like garbage. It feels like blanket statements. Taylor Lorenz, all right, got nothing against you, homie, but come on. Go on this, man, bro. Get in. What the helly? What the helly, dude? Okay, like, I need people to be pissed off for Emmy, all right, and pissed off at Twitch. Not this kind little neutral energy. That's not even neutral energy. It was fluffing. I need somebody to be pissed, or at least be straightforward. You know, you don't have to be angry, but at least be straightforward and say what the facts are, okay? Be matter-of-factly, not kind of like, you know, okay, there's things are both happening. Nah, I don't like it. You guys can let me know how you feel about this Emmy situation. I'm upset. I hope that Emmy sues. I hope that there is not a TwitchCon. There needs to be consequences. If there are not consequences here, major ones, then this basically just shows women, okay, the women who are watching this video or looking at this event are basically going to feel like, oh, so this is what happens when I get assaulted. If I got assaulted, this is exactly what would happen. Absolutely freaking nothing. Okay? And the whole thing to me about talking about him getting stomped, he should have been stomped. Should have been stomped. Old fashioned, bunch of people, bop, 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 bop. You know, take a picture. Hey guys, here's the guy that was basically assaulted a woman at TwitchCon, and he needs to be freaking bent over like a freaking like Family Guy episode, right? Right? And then Twitch can be like, hey guys, there was a dude who was basically trying to do something and we stomped him out and then he'd arrested, right? GG's, sorry that happened, go on. And we're like, dang. And then people are going to be like, guys who are thinking about it, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is going to happen to me. If I was thinking about doing something, kind of similar. This was going to happen to me. Wouldn't let that happen to me though. And they'll probably second guess it. But instead they're just like, oh wow, I literally get free access and get the hell out of jail with no No, we got to make an example of this person in some kind of way. Otherwise, they're just going to keep making examples out of the women until we get another Christine Grimm situation. And I don't want that. So I'd rather make examples of the actual attackers than potentially creating a new victim. You guys can let me know how you feel about the situation. I think I can breathe and I can calm down now. I'm super uber. Oh my God. Okay. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. I'm gonna relax. Psych! I'm not gonna relax. Okay, we got a couple clips that you guys sent me as well that also happened at StreamCon. Having to do with this one guy named streamer named N3on and another dude named Jack Doherty. Okay, and it has to do again with their interactions with women at the stream. Okay, and a little controversial about what took place. Okay, Comedy A in a joke said, "Hey, N3on getting pissy because some girl rejected him, blamed it on her fat friend when she didn't say anything negative. People defending N3on saying he gave her a compliment, but he called her beautiful for the reason he invited her to the party. N3on went off on a girl at TwitchCon after she rejected him and accused him of objectifying her. Let's watch the clip, shall we?
Hello, how you doing today? Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Emiru.
Hi.
Emiru. Just call me M.
M.
Yes.
I am.
What's your name?
N3on.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
That's horrifying.
Real quick, Emiru, I'm doing a little after party.
Okay.
I would love for you to come.
Why?
Because you're very beautiful.
We gotta go.
I love being objectified.
Come on, let's go.
Wait, what did I do wrong?
Wait, what? Okay. All right. This is definitely going to be a conversation. Okay. All right. So N3on walked up to a random stranger girl. Not so random, as you guys probably could have told. You know, she's pretty. Okay. N3on scouted her out and said, hey, I think you're very pretty. And because of you're pretty, I want you to come to my after party. Okay. And then N3on's kind of like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? So now it's creating this conversation between like one group of people saying like, dang, so a guy can't just go out there and invite somebody to a party, you know, like even. So this is a little funny. I'm gonna finish the clip though, okay? Because I'm guessing that N3on didn't take this well. Let's see.
Objectified? Wait, what the fuck did I do? Hold on. Wait. You into the front? It's always a fat friend, bro. Hey, God. I just don't. How is a okay? All right. I'm not trying to be weird. How is a girl gonna say you're getting objectified with your tits out? Am I tripping? Am I bugging? LPR? I don't give a fuck, man. Fuck PR. Speak from the heart.
So let's kind of talk about this really quickly, okay? This girl is out here minding her business, all right? Not looking for any kind of attention, just chilling, literally in that event, all right? That's what she's doing. And she gets approached by a man who says, you are absolutely beautiful, and that's why I want you to come to the after party. That specifically set up is what made her feel objectified, okay? She's not being invited there because he knows her. She's not being invited there because of her accomplishments. She's not being invited anywhere, nothing, only because she looks good. And N3on wants her to be there as an object, okay? N3on's like, I have an after party. You're very pretty. I would like to place you in my after party as an object of because you are beautiful. Do you understand? That's what it means, objectification, because it's kind of dehumanizing her for not knowing anything else about her. And the purpose of her going is because she is pretty. That's what that is. This is also on brand for N3on, okay? N3on is the guy who basically, I don't know if he pays money or whatever, or women just come there to kind of clout chase, where he's surrounded by women who are just basically flying around him and trying to get farmed, get clout. And usually a lot of these women are OnlyFans and stuff like that. So he's surrounded by these women who are who want this. They want to be objectified. They're looking for the attention. Found one and she was like, no, that's not how I am, and I don't want to be objectified. Found a woman that basically had, decent self-respect, and then he crashed out because, and then calling the fat friend, basically he read his chat. And he's trying to be base pilled. He's trying to be like, oh yeah, based. Oh man, I got rejected. It's he's just basically following his community, but parenting that kind of rhetoric. The long and short of it is that a lot of women can read this energy when it comes to men, literally very, very ahead of time. They can recognize that they're being approached for just their looks and their looks only, basically to kind of look like eye candy. Okay, it wasn't an interview where he said, "Hey, hi, what do you do? Are you on Twitch? What type of content do you make? Who are you as a person? What are you here for? Do you have any friends? Okay, that's great. Well, look, let me just be frank with you. Okay, I'm having a party. I also think you're very gorgeous as well. And I love the fact that you're doing in the streamer space as well. Would you and your friend like to come hang out with us at the Twitch party and meet other people to kind of hang out as well? Is that something you'd be interested in? Because I don't think there's a problem, obviously, with saying that you are, attracted to a person or telling a person that they're gorgeous. There's respectful ways of doing it. That's not objectification, because everybody has object of attraction, and they're like, oh wow, this person's attractive, okay? But then when you're just leading with, hey, you're hot, want to come to my party, then you're literally looking for a person who is hot to be at your party so that your party can have hot people. It has nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her, and everything to do with the fact that she will make you look better. That's what it means to be objectified. A lot of people don't understand that. And then they get the rejection, and as soon as they get rejected, then they just show their true colors. They can't handle it, and then they just start blaming and calling other people crap or saying, why do you have your boobs out? Or it's the fat friend, etc., etc. And again, this is not their first rodeo. Women, they've lived long enough. They can sniff these kind of guys out a mile away. And there are some women who want that. They want that validation. Oh, you think I'm cute? Yeah, I'll go to the party. That's it. That's what they want, because they love that validation, okay? But she's not one of them. She has self-respect, and she does not want to be invited or brought to places just based on her appearances. The last clip I'm gonna show you guys has to do with Jack Doherty. That's right, and my girl Peach Jars. Apparently this clip, Jack Doherty is a streamer we've talked about many times on this channel, okay? He's this streamer who's basically now banned from Kick and Twitch as well. I don't think he's banned from Twitch. He's banned everywhere. He's the kid that basically was driving in an expensive car and speeding on the highway while streaming. And then after he crashed, and his cameraman was in there. He told his cameraman, who was bleeding, to record him and the crash. He tried to make content after he basically risked his life, his friend's life, and people on the road. And then he tried to freaking clip farm the situation. This kid is the epitome of a person who literally has no personality and all wealth, and is trying to use the fact that they have assets and funds to go out there and be something. Like when you don't have any personality. And the person that he has, he's also the kid you guys probably know who walks around and he had a bodyguard and he would basically walk around on the mall and invade people's spaces. And then when people were like, what the hell? He would sick his bodyguard on them as well. One of the worst IRL streamers to ever do it outside of Johnny Somali. And he is here at TwitchCon looking for more attention. Now, I got to bleep a lot of this, okay? The bleeps are basically going to be him saying the F-bomb, okay? Not the F word, but, you know, for gay. And I'm going to bleep that out because, you know, YouTube doesn't like that. But otherwise, yeah.
I'm kidding, but like, my brother's gay. The fuck? I kissed 2 guys at once. How can I be homophobic? Exactly. You don't know anything. You're just a woman.
You can still be.
Just rage baiting. He's literally rage baiting. Like, and it's, you know what's worse? It's funny. It's like, it's almost like he's trying to be edgy, but then he's like, just kidding. I said the word, just kidding though. My brother is gay. You know, I kissed a man before, like literally trying to, when you're edgy, you don't literally follow up your edgy jokes with, here's a justification of why I can say the edgy jokes. Okay. So he's not even doing the edgy part well. And then he's like, here, like, oh, you're just a woman. Okay. So he's out here just trying to rage bait and be disrespectful to make people respond. And it doesn't work out the way that he'd want him to be.
Homophobic.
Oh, and what are you? Homosexual?
A reasonable human being.
How am I homophobic? I love my brother.
You're not just hear all his slurs.
So what was
doesn't mean I'm homophobic just because
what was reasonable?
And nothing's gonna happen to me. That's the problem. No, I'm kidding. But listen,
and nothing's going to happen to me. And that's the problem. Man was quite literally, he's basically, is he conflicting? Are there 2 wolves in him? Okay, is there this one side with him being edgy and then another side of him being like, bro, okay, but the problem here is that I can do all of this stuff and nothing's going to happen to me. There's no he's looking for a response. He wants somebody to punch him. He wants somebody to fight him so that he can go, wah, wah, wah. Look at this. Free speech is gone. Wah. Just some he's one of those people who basically coax people on, and then when he gets any kind of consequence or backlash, then he cries victim and says that the reason why this is happening to him is because of society.
Kidding. But listen, like, you know what I mean?
She's walking away.
She walked up and flicked you off.
Yeah, you walked up and flipped me off, bro. You have nothing to say to me. I'm not homophobic. Wait, time out. What if I wasn't homophobic? What else do you have to say to me?
Transphobic, homophobic.
That for sure. None of my family members are trans, so.
Hairline's receding. That's why the curls are on the forehead.
You wish, boy. My dad's 69 and had full head.
You know, it's funny. It's the insecurity, like that.
Here, you wish. Now,
I love how she's looking at the camera. Okay, this is Peach Jars. This is the homie. She's actually an ex-accountant. We're accountant homies. She basically is clocking this dude, right? Points out one of his insecurities, and he just look at my forehead hair. And when he's doing his best to prove that he is, I don't know, cool. Is that what he's looking for? But this is one of the most insecure freaking people I have ever seen in my life, trying so hard to make people think that you are cool. You are no, it's the opposite, bro. Your orbiters, the people that float around you, they see it. They won't tell it to you. They'll tell you otherwise to kind of just not piss you off or make you upset. But one of the least uninteresting people I have ever met, just basically trying to hide behind cruel and edgy jokes and dark jokes and rage baiting in order to create content.
I need a good comeback. I need something from you. You're full of hate. I need you to have one good hateful comment on me. Something that makes sense. Something that's true. Because
I think he's better looking than you.
No, because you have nothing to say. You definitely.
So he's literally just trying to farm a clip off of her. He's not getting that content. He's desperately trying to get some type of clip or content out of this so he can be like, look guys, look at this argument that I won. And she's just not giving it to him, just walking it away, chilling like.
You have nothing to say.
I pulled this.
You're speechless. What is that?
She's rich now.
It's a fucking Pokemon card, dog. Like, she was saying mean things to me.
Oh, I was telling you to homophobic.
Oh, now she's being
faggot, bro.
But it's like, that's not a big deal. My brother's gay. I can dumb clip you're farming. I can say a word offends you. You can cry about it. You really can. But I can.
Okay, so toodaloo. Jack Doherty is probably one of the least entertaining, most cringiest people on the internet. And I don't even use the word cringe like that, to be honest. when I think of cringe, I was like, yeah, embrace your inner cringe. Everyone's a little bit of weird. You know, like this is, cringe is good. This is bad cringe. This is the product of entitlement and attention. He just quite literally, I don't know if mommy and daddy's not giving him the attention. I don't know if all of the fake friends around him are making him feel sad, upset, and alone. I don't know, but just a terrible human being altogether. I can't find any redeeming qualities. Every time I talk about this guy, he just seems to get worse and worse. All right, guys, I've come to a conclusion. Okay, it's been almost 2 weeks of Collargate. We have more Hasan clips. Apparently he crashed out. And apparently there's more clips of him doing this thing where it looks like he is basically trying to keep Kaya in the corner with remote control. Okay. I have a hypothesis, and I feel like I have seen enough evidence to basically make this hypothesis. Okay, this is what I think is actually going down based all of the information that's happened so far. I feel comfortable enough with the amount of evidence that I've seen to basically express what is going down and then also why nothing's going to actually come from it. Okay, Nasty Boy and a lot of you guys asked me to talk about this. Says here, more proof about him using the shock collar. Okay, so again, I don't know if the clip is a vibration or a shock. I don't know the difference yet. All I know is my man's was not reaching for some Zims. Okay, I think Hasan lied to us. Okay, I think Hasan tried to protect his image, and I think he lied to us. I'll show this clip first. This is yet another clip where Kaya is basically not where she is supposed to be, in that little green corner. Not there. All right, this is I don't know if this is the 10th or 11th one that looks exactly the same. And I will play it for you guys, and they're going to be talking in the background. Just try to focus on this image here.
Trump was potentially going to use to potentially put pressure on Jordan's king to try and take in more Palestinians, correct? I mean, that's what we've heard from Trump over the course of the past few weeks, is that Jordan and also Egypt.
So his mic was muted, so you couldn't hear what he was saying. It looked like he said the place command, okay? But let me go back. Let me show you one more time.
Trump was potentially going to use.
He looks back and he sees that Kaya is not in her place where Kaya wants to be. Kaya's moving around, wants to move around, not be in the same place.
To potentially put pressure.
And then he looks at the same freaking corner. It's the same thing. It's not the Zims. It's not the Zims. It's not the Zims, okay? He lifts his arm up, not for the Zims, 100% for probably the shock/vibration collar remote.
Jordan's king to try
looks back,
and take in
presses
more
it,
Palestinians.
And then the dog literally jumps. There's a woof. There's an immediate woof. I need to be moved into place. This is not like some slow crawl. This is a
Palestinians, correct? I mean, that's what we've heard.
This is a jump, okay? Hasan is zapping his dog. That's what I feel. I've seen enough clips and I think I have enough discernment. I've seen that he walks around everywhere carrying something in his pocket. He has a leash. He has admitted that he has a vibration collar as well. I believe that that is what he is doing in every single one of these clips, based on all of the amount of evidence that just keeps popping up. And I feel like he might have lied to us. This clip was also trending as well, where Hasan essentially had a crash out.
Can't stand any of you dumb fucks in this goddamn chat. Oh my fucking God, I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single fucking day of the goddamn week. I hate my life. I hate fucking streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single fucking person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being the most annoying, holier than thou, the most ultimately woke leftist. You did it.
All right. My man's crashing out. He said he hates the left. He hates liberals. He hates these wokes, these guys who oh man, he hates socialism. He's basically talking about how he's not happy. He's stressing out from the situation. The situation is absolutely freaking getting to him. From what I feel like, I don't think Hasan does very well with criticism. Okay, whenever somebody says something about him that he doesn't agree about himself, he calls you dumb or an idiot or a moron. There's no I can see your point, or I can empathize. He just quite little. It's politics. This is what people with political figures do, and it's one of those things where you just kind of spew out ad hominems, and you tell the other person that they're crazy, XYZ. This is the pattern that I've been seeing for the past 2 weeks, just in 2 weeks of just looking at Collargate. That's it. Not even looking in the past. This is what I've been observing since this incident has started.
You did it. You have unlocked the fucking nihilism within me, okay? I am black-pilled. Nothing will ever get better. We are never going to make it out. We can't even have a normal fucking non-hostile goddamn conversation on any of these issues. Everybody just simply wants to fucking chirp into the wind because they have no power and they recognize their utter powerlessness in the face of unjustifiable constructs that we fucking exist under. And the best possible fucking thing you can do is just be goddamn annoying, okay? Oh, God. Right when the reporter is asking you about optimism, I want to fucking, I want to just shut it off, dude. I want to shut everything off. I just want to go away. If I wasn't so goddamn stubborn, I would have a long time ago. Oh my Lord, dude. I 100% think you should someday go on sub-only mode. What do you mean? The most annoying people are literally like the 40-month subscribers. The person that caused me to fucking spiral just now is Hidejo Offliner or whatever. And that is like a routine nuisance and an offliner in this community.
So, again, this is one of those examples where I feel like Hasan is blaming his reaction, his spiraling, his crash out on somebody else. All right. And then in my opinion, okay, when it comes to your emotions and your reactions and your feelings, right, you are responsible for regulating your emotions and your feelings. Okay. This is not that person's fault. You have to take accountability and responsibility for how you react. And I don't feel like he's blaming this random chatter that literally apparently is his fan, instead of literally just kind of looking at himself and being like, why am I reacting like this? Why am I so mad? Why am I so stressed? Why am I so livid? Why am I crashing out? What is going on within me? Because that's not what's actually occurring here. And I have the sneaking suspicion is that it has a lot to do with his ego, but also I feel like he's trying to protect a specific narrative, because I think it does not look good for him that he might be shocking his dog and giving people ammunition that he considers his enemy.
Okay. He is a consistent voice of nuisance. Okay. What are you talking about? The people that actually brick me, the people that actually cause me to fucking spiral out of control are always the people that have been in this fucking community for years, who never shut the fuck up.
So like it's again, oh man, again, I have no hate boner against Hasan, but I feel like he has issues. It's not about them speaking. It's about them sharing opinions that oppose the ones that he feels, right? It's about criticism. And when it's about criticism or things that kind of don't work in his favor or what he feels is representation of himself, then he crashes out and he gets extremely angry. I actually know a lot of family members, now I think about it, that are exactly like this, where if you try to give them any kind of form of criticism, even if you love them, or even if you support them, but if you try, they will shut you down with frustration, anger, yelling, and name calling.
I've banned him before. It's literally just like, I'm not even singling him out. He's just one example, but this happens all the fucking time, bro. Anyway, one of the worst aspects of like this kind of gathering online is that I think people don't behave like this in the real world. That's unironically what I was talking about. That's why I have so much hope for the future of America when I'm out in the fucking streets, right? Because I see grandparents and I see kids and I see regular ass folk that see right from wrong and they say, fuck this. What do you mean? You're just like kidnapping my neighbors.
So again, I think what he's also referring to, the real world, are the people who don't. Hasan has two personalities. There's two wolves in him. He goes outside and you meet normies, you meet regular people, okay? And then you go online and you have the people who are chronically online, like him, who's chronically online, okay? And both of these are two separate worlds, and the people who are chronically online can see all of this stuff that's chronically happening online. They see all this stuff. They see all the clips. You guys are watching the videos as well. We're seeing Hasan in a way that, the grandparents and the kids cannot see. You know what I'm saying? he is talking about how, but there's a bit of truth when it comes to the normies who are completely disconnected and the people who are online who are way too obsessed and connected. There's a difference, right? But again, I feel like he's trying to talk about how, like, you know, the people in the real world don't basically give him this kind of energy. I don't think it's because they know what's going on, brother. And I think also you're having a hard time dealing with addressing the accountability of your online persona and actions that people are bringing up as well. That's what I feel like. It's my man's is not very good with criticism.
Fuck out of here. And they protest. And that gives me confidence. And then when I go back to the internet and I get fucking yelled at by a bunch of screenager iPad babies who are 38 years old, who think that the most like radical socialist position is to constantly chirp in a fucking Twitch streamer's chat and hyper scrutinize everything and then like refuse to understand like broader points. Okay. Refuse to be open-minded. Then I'm blackpilled again. It's virtually impossible not to be blackpilled if you're online all the fucking time. Everything that we do here is so bad.
So yeah, I kind of understand what he's talking about the black pilled part. There's a lot of stuff that's online that really fucking sucks. I 100% agree with that. But I don't know, man. I don't ever see Hasan kind of like criticizing himself or accepting any kind of criticism well or looking inward. It feels like it's always somebody else's fault. And you guys aren't looking at more broader things or bigger things. That seems to be the pattern that I've been seeing for the past 2 weeks. That's kind of exhausted me, but this is his crash out. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Hasan told a fib. I think he kind of lied about the whole situation. I don't think he wants to kind of come back from that. I think there's a lot of people who don't care. Okay, whether he lies or not, they genuinely just want to move on from Collargate because they support Hasan and want him to keep doing what he is doing. And they don't think this situation is a big deal. And then obviously you have another group of people as well that, again, who are going to kind of like scrutinize Hasan no matter what. Even if there is room for doubt for any of these kind of situations, and you're going forward or whatever, he even doesn't do nothing. He just sneezed. I know that they're going to come at him as well. But somebody who's just been pretty objective. You guys have seen my review of this as well. The clips, I see the clips. I see the hand motion. Repetitive correlation. 1 time a coincidence. 2 time weird. 3 times sus, 4 time huh, 5, 6, 7, 8 single clips of him, which basically shows what looks like him pressing a button to keep Kaya put into a corner. There's been a lot of different stories, and the narratives keep changing, and his audience and a lot of people keep, giving these different explanations, and the tape and the not tape, and the prongs and the not prongs. And I think the reason why none of this is matching up is because it's not authentic. That's what I'm observing as a third person party view with no skin in the game, who does not care to condemn this person for anything at all. There's no objective here to try to make Hasan look bad, because I don't gain anything from trying to make him look bad. It does not work for me. I've actually, in fact, lost 1,000 subscribers as I've been talking about this situation from people like, how dare you, Omni, have this opinion about Hasan? How dare you, Omni, keep looking at evidence? How dare you not see it the way that I see it, And I'm like, hey, I respect your path and your opinion as well, okay? If I see it a little bit differently, you got some justifications, that's totally cool. That's totally wrong. I'm not going to tell how dare you for thinking that the way you feel, okay? I'm not going to blame you either. I'm not going to call you names, all right? I'm not going to say that you're stupid, poo-poo head, and you're moronic, and you're schizo. I'm not going to call you none of those things. That's just kind of basically what it is that I'm observing here, and I think that's what's taking place. So there's been a lot of talk about, like, if Hasan is actually using this kind of training to keep Kaya in the corner, if that is abuse or not, and I don't know the answer to that. I do know that it does feel like he is trying to keep Kaya in the background of his videos. Okay, whether you believe it's a zap or not, the place that he wants her to be is in vision and stream. It's a prop. Okay, and he wants the dog to be, and because he could have this prop, this thing could be Kaya could be underneath the desk. It could be somewhere else out of view. It could be anywhere else where she's not actually visibly seen. But I do think that he wants the place to be somewhere where both, he can see her on the stream and everyone else can see her as well, which kind of seems like a prop. Surveillancer, which can be fine to surveillance, but a lot of people communicated like, yeah, it's not healthy for a big dog like that to be sitting in one place for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and ends at a time. And also when you are using the collar to kind of like, saying that it's more of a penalty if the dog is being shocked. Someone made a point that if you are zapping the dog and you're giving them negative reinforcement for doing what is natural, which is moving around or trying to, unsettle or adjust, then it's more so negative reinforcement. But yeah, that's my opinion here. I think Gang may have told a fib. I think he probably got boxed into a corner, was worried and scared how the public backlash will look like if he did that. It seems like he keeps trying to hide this shock thing in all of the clips that I've ever seen. He's pushing it out of the way, keeping it in his pocket. He's not showing to you. He's trying to hide it. So I think he's being sneaky. That's my opinion. You guys can let me know how you feel. If you think I'm wrong or you think I'm looking at it wrong, then that's completely fine. That's completely cool. And if you still support Hasan despite that, that's on you. I ain't here to judge you for it. I'll let you guys know if anything else big comes from Caldergate, but I think we're winding down. 2 more topics, okay? We got to talk about the No Kings protest that happened yesterday. And apparently there's a Lupin III theft, stealing, okay? We literally got Ocean's 11 out here in Paris on the Louvre, bro. What in the freaking world? People are stealing things in broad daylight and getting away with it and not getting caught. First, Def Design says how peaceful it is when people come together to support each other and humanity. That's right. I think it was this weekend, Saturday, was the No Kings protest. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, which I believe had over like almost 7 million people and is being known as the biggest American protest of all time. As you guys know, the No Kings protest has to do simply with Donald Trump, which people feel is his I always say this wrong word, authoritarianism, okay? Where guys basically kind of ruling more as a dictator, okay? The concept of bipartisanship has completely evaporated, and it's more so like, I'm the president, I have the power, and I will invoke everything to do what it is that I want to do. And you just got to deal with it, period. That's the energy that people feel like they've been dealing with the Trump administration since he's been in office, as he's been pushing the military, trying to control them and put them into different places, going against the state, freaking state police getting tear gas. The administration that we're in right now is very, very hostile. And he is basically painting people to be enemies. Anybody who's not with him is as an enemy. There's no neutrality anymore. There's no people who are kind of trying to make things work anymore. There's no nuance. There is my way or literally the deportation highway. Well, this picture here shows like all of the people that was crowded. Okay, you had New York, which was on Broadway, which is absolutely crowded. Boston was absolutely freaking ginormous. There was Chicago, Philadelphia was huge. San Diego was just like all these places. Atlanta, Boise, Washington, D.C., my backyard, bro. There was people nonstop. I was outside, actually. I had to go out to run some errands. And I was driving down the Pike, Rockville Pike 355. And then all of a sudden, Wisconsin Avenue 2 as well. I was like, what the heck? It was early. It was only like 11 a.m. Massive amounts of people in costumes and dinosaur outfits, dancing, cowbells. It was crazy. You got Oakland, you got Charlotte, you got Minnesota. And then people were protesting. You had Bernie out there talking about, these were peaceful protests. And everywhere you would go and all the stuff you would see, people were kind of just walking around, chilling, smiling, laughing, hanging out, just literally just standing in place and then moving to another place after a certain period of time. The idea of this protest was to basically to show out in numbers, and so people can see that a lot of people are standing up against Donald Trump, and which they feel is his extreme rule for power. So here's Donald Trump's response. First, he made a AI video on the Truth Social with this. It says, King Trump, and there's a person on a plane or a helicopter. Gotta turn that down. It's him in a freaking crowd. And then it's literally him dumping feces and poop onto the protesters. It's an AI video of him flying around as a king, dumping feces on the protesters. That's where we are. It's 2025. That's where we are. Our president is making AI videos about dumping poop onto American citizens. Here's also Trump talking about the No Kings protest as well while he's on Air Force One.
Over the weekend, the No Kings protests.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by...
He just said, by the way, that 7 million people are not representative of this country. Like, the people were waving flags, okay? They love America. They do love this country. They've lived in this country for generations and generations. For generations and generations, they love this country. And literally saying that they don't represent the country it's removing the idea. Bipartisanship, absolutely gone. But to denounce that these people are American citizens and what they... Bro, I don't even know. Protest is one of the reasons why the amendments, the Constitution is the way it is, okay? People have died so that people can fight for the right to protest, okay? And to demonstrate. So it's literally as American as hell to be a protester. And saying that that's just not the American thing it feels like that's where the administration is trying to take America, to a place where protesting no longer is American.
Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
He said it was very small. It was literally the biggest protest in American history. So Maz is just capping. He's capping.
Besides San Francisco.
By the way, I'm not a king. I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
Okay, and then Trump saying he's not a king. He's not. Okay, so he's denouncing the title of king, saying I'm not that and I just work. Okay. That's fine. That's cool. I'm actually surprised that he's not saying it. He's like, but if you want me to be a king, he might play around that concept. But the way that he has so far handled this administration, a lot of people have felt is similar to that of a dictator. In terms of the highlights, you had Pedro Pascal, who was spotted at the No Kings protest holding a picture of what looks like to be Donald Trump at the Epstein party. That's the biggest thing, bro. Screw Collargate. Screw all this other stuff, bro. Drop the Epstein files. I heard there is a memoir of one of the victims that's coming out, a book from one of the victims of the Epstein case. She was one of the people who was on the island. She talked about her experience. I don't know if I told you guys, but Prince Andrew basically just resigned his job as a prince. He's no longer the prince anymore. And he's one of the people who have had pictures that show that he was at Epstein's island. Okay. A lot of people saying a lot of information is about to come out. And I just want the Epstein files. I just want after all of this stuff that we're talking about and all the drama and everything, I would just like to put people behind bar and jail. The people who are abusing and the diddlers. Why can't we? I don't even understand why we as a country can't come together for that. Like the fact that we can't come together to put these types of people away is the most weirdest, insane thing that I can ever think about. But I can only think that has to do with the fact that they're just trying to protect the people, that a lot of people who are in our power and around the world, they're saying there's like prime ministers. There are people on here that are guilty. Okay, because Epstein had freaking blackballing everybody. That would severely disrupt society as a whole. And there's probably a good chance they're trying to protect these people because these people currently have power. That's my opinion. Here's a crazy time lapse of the march. This was Chicago. Good Lord. Look at this. Look at all of these are people, bro. This is not AI. This is people. It looks like a waterfall of actual human beings. Last thing I played, you even had Fox News. I think this is Jessica Tarkloff or something, who was talking about the No Kings protest. And people are like, what? Fox News is actually talking about the No Kings protest? And what is going on here? Let me play this clip.
A few of the things that people who are going to be out there on the streets peacefully protesting are upset about, starting with the basics, signing an executive order to do away with birthright citizenship, which is literally in the Constitution, sending troops into blue cities.
Oh, you mean
unilaterally implementing tariffs, which Congress gets to do. I already talked about the 170 Americans who've been locked up. cracking down on the First Amendment, detaining students for op-eds you don't like, targeting law firms, universities, reallocating funds appropriated by Congress to fund your big ICE force, firing inspectors generals that are looking into your friends like Elon Musk, making billions off of crypto scams, and your kids are running all over the world making deals. And the Trump administration has defied 1 in 3 judges that have ruled against him. And you're seeing that from judges appointed up from Reagan up to Donald Trump that are saying absolutely not. You are breaking the law in taking some of these actions. All of that is what No King's Day is about.
That was Fox News. That is supposed to be like the right? That's those guys we always joke about Fox News, and that was literally Fox News reporting about what the No Kings protest stood for. All right, guys, all for today's video. Okay, I was supposed to talk about the Louvre, but I'm getting tired. All right, I've been recording for like almost 2 hours now. I need to edit this video. I'll talk about it in tomorrow's video or the day after or whatever. Okay, and then on Tuesday as well. Okay, I will be streaming on twitch.tv/Inferno Omni. Okay, I like to cover a lot of the topics that we can't cover here as well. So if you want to see me live, okay, you want to see me get crazy, because this is when I get crazy. I usually during the evening I get the zoomies, I get some coffee or something like that, and I just go crazy. I can do whatever the hell I want. So if you want to come hang out with me Tuesday afternoon/evening, okay, hit notifications to come hang out with me. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll be making videos again all this week and working on some other secret projects for you as well. All right, y'all take it easy. Peace.